Hello guys, we're in Moscow and tonight I'm going to interview Mamed Khalidov, middleweight KSW champion. Mamed, привет!
Hi Mamed, I'm really glad to see you in Moscow. How was your trip from Poland? Hello, thank you for your care. It was okay despite the several hours delay. You've been fighting for KSW Poland since 2007. Your career had started before that with 2 losses running. They say that if one loses the first fight, it is very hard to do the second one after the loss. Could you tell me of how you were able to put yourself together after 2 losses and go on doing your thing? Did you feel a very strong motivation that you were made for MMA and you must stick to them? Here is a very important point. I believe that one cannot achieve anything on his own. Thanks God, I always had people who helped me by my side, and I'm grateful to them for our mutual achievements. Initially, these were my coaches. My first contests were MMA contests, as I never had taken part in anything like that before. Despite 3 months of training, I lost my first 2 battles. Now I think that I would have given up, thinking this sport is not for me. However, my coaches stepped in and said that there are losses too, and one should learn to cope with them, put oneself together, learn one's lessons and go on. They said that they feel a talent in me and suggested that I went on training, and I did, thanks God and these people, and succeeded little by little. As far as I know, there are 2 main media stars in KSW, you and Mariusz Pudzianowski. What's your view of the ex-strongman? What do you think of him as a fighter? Are you on speaking terms? Please tell us about it. Indeed we are, but we're not the only famous guys from KSW. There are also Michal Materla, Mamed Khalidov and Boris Mankovsky. And as for Mariusz, at first people didn't take him seriously for his being a strongman. However, his achievements in extreme sports must be kept in mind. He won 5 World's Strongest Man titles. Therefore, everyone was interested to see him fighting, which attracted all his fans to switch to KSW. Of course, he wasn't showing anything spectacular in the beginning, and his fights looked like a nightclub scuffle. Anyway, he did his job by attracting new fans. They remained our audience and they watched MMA. Today, Pudzianowski is a real MMA fighter. He's got his own skills and I think he's doing okay. You mentioned your fellow fighter, Michal Materla. They say you're good friends, so could you tell me how did it feel to fight against your friend? Did you experience anything like that before? No, nothing of this kind. It was very hard emotionally, but emotions stay behind the scenes. At first, there were some rumors why we fight. We've been refusing to confront her for quite a long time. Each of us was winning our own fights. Materla became a champion. Soon it turned out that we had no choice. We had to confront each other. Fans literally screamed, "Do it, it's only sport." We talked to each other and agreed to fight. We decided to turn emotions off, to go out and fight and to get over it, no matter who wins. That was our decision, but real life has its rules too. You focus on your rival when you know who he is. When I go training, I focus on my rival. I know his weak and strong points and prepare accordingly. But this time it was hard. I went training and motivated, because my rival was my friend. So I had to distract my mind and not to think of it. The most terrible moment came after the fight. As a rule, all my feelings come back to me after the bell. This time it was like that too. I switched from positive to negative. At first, I was even happy that I won, but then I saw my friend lying unconscious, and it fell very hard on me. But it seems I had to go through it. We're pros, and if we have to fight each other, let us fight. MMA sport is about it. Mamed, if we look into your career, there's one interesting thing to my mind that I'd like to highlight in this interview. Okay, let's do it. Great. Your ShareDog.com record states 31 wins to 4 losses. And in 2013, ShareDog.com rated you among world's 10 strongest fighters. You have an unprecedented streak of wins several years running, and you are incredibly versatile as a fighter. You have full set of victories by knockouts, technical knockouts, by submissions, and you had only one bout won by referee-stopped contest. Considering all that, there's one interesting detail. Your basic style is karate. The basic styles that we see at competitions are mainly boxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. In other words, something trendier than karate. Do you think that your victories grew out of your basic style and perhaps we should go old school and start teaching karate to the beginners? You know, I took up karate when I was 12 and it was all the rage back then. Van Damme, Bruce Lee and other tough guys from movies were our idols. In fact, when I took up MMA, I was an amateur. I knew a bit of karate, a bit of boxing, a bit of taekwondo and a bit of classic wrestling. I was training for my own pleasure. While doing MMA, I started learning everything anew: wrestling, boxing and kickboxing. It was the first time I learned of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and I liked it a lot. Brazilian wrestling and grappling are still my favorite courses of training. MMA taught me everything. I knew a couple of things, but that wasn't enough for competitions. It were my MMA coaches who taught me. Mamed, could you advise anything to the people who want to succeed in MMA? What should they start with? My first advice is to follow your own mind and not fashion. There is a great health risk in MMA, so if you want to enter a cage and fight there, it must be by your own decision. You should see whether you have any talent. There are hard-working fighters that have no talent, but succeed by hard training and work. A strong wish and a strong character are the key points. When there is a will, there is a way. One should engage in the earnest in order to become an MMA professional. Studying matters as much as gym, as MMA requires plenty of thinking and one cannot go without education. So good luck to everyone who wants to take up MMA. Some time ago your nickname was Cannibal. Where does it come from and do you still use it? It's awful. I don't know where it came from. I went to a contest in the US and they just fastened it to me. I'm entering the cage and hearing the announcer yell "Cannibal." I was puzzled. Why a cannibal? What happened? How come? They gave it to me without my knowing it. But I'm not a cannibal at all. And I don't want a nickname. I'm not against it. It's like with tattoos, you have it if you wish, why not? But you don't, do you? Well, I'd prefer something soft, let's say bunny. You shouldn't really say this, Mamed. Be sure you'll be called Mamed Bunny Khalidov from now on. Why not? Bunny is a sweet name. Okay, on May 28th you have a fight for the belt against the German fighter Aziz Karaoglu. Thank you, I was afraid to mispronounce his name. They say that you're good friends as well, and once you even refused to fight with him. Yes, I was against it at first, but I warned Aziz that if they make such an appointment, we'll have to fight. That's our sport. Our audience will never forgive me if I fail to ask this question of much concern. Is it UFC? Yes. Haven't you changed your future plans? Look, it's pure logic. Imagine you earn $100, then some guys come and say, "Come join us and you'll get as much as $1 for that." My family, my home, my career are in Poland. I'm a part of Polish MMA history. I wanted to try myself in UFC once, but I got a lean offer. I'm sure that not a single fighter or fan would take it, no matter what they say. They wouldn't take it if they were in my place. No one would. Try walking in my shoes, as they say. Our fans, people that love MMA and support us, and I'm very grateful for that, should try to understand us and respect our decision. There are many Russian and Polish fighters in UFC. Why not support them? Or one may go to the gym, train, and eventually join UFC himself. Mamed, thank you very much for the interview. It was a nice talk. Good luck with your fight for the belt. Thank you. Goodbye.
Чемпионский пояс. В любом случае будем болеть за тебя.
Спасибо большое. Всего хорошего.